Now we will discuss about the mole concept. Mole concept. Mole concept is totally depend on mole. So firstly we will discuss about the mole. Now we will discuss about the mole. For the counting of articles, the unit dozen or unit gross is commonly used. Dozen or gross. We use dozen or gross for counting of articles. As we know, 1 dozen is equal to 12 unit of anything, and 1 gross is equal to 144 unit of anything. The unit dozen or gross not depend on any nature of substance or nature of anything. It is depend on the number of articles. For example, 1 dozen pen means 12 unit of pens. 1 dozen of banana means 12 bananas, and 1 dozen pencil means 12 pencils. We can say that 1 dozen pen equal to 12 pens, 1 dozen banana equal to 12 bananas, and 1 dozen pencil equal to 12 pencils. It means it is not depend on nature of particle or nature of any substance or nature of anything, because 1 dozen pen is also equal to 12, 1 dozen banana is also equal to 12, and 1 dozen pencil is also equal to 12. It means it is irrespective to nature. The same way, 1 gross pen is equal to 144 pens. 1 gross pencil is also equal to 144 pencils, and 1 gross banana means 144 bananas. So you can say that it is not depend on the nature of thing. The unit only depend on number of things. That 1 gross is equal to 144. 1 gross pen is also equal to 144. 1 gross pencil is also equal to 144. 1 gross banana is also equal to 144. So we can say that dozen and banana is a numerical unit. It is not depend on nature or type of article. But in chemistry of substances, used of these units, that is dozen or gross, is no any mean, because a little quantity of any substance contains a lot of particles, so it would be very inconvenient for us to use gross or dozen as a unit. A little quantity of any substance contains lot of particles, so it would be very difficult or very inconvenient to us to use gross or dozen as a unit. So chemist gave rise to new unit for counting of particles of substances, and that is mole. So we use mole in chemistry. You can define mole by carbon 12. Mole is amount of substance that contains the same number of entities, that is atoms, molecules, ions, etc., as there are atoms in 12 gram of carbon 12. So now we can write the definition of mole. Mole is the amount of any substance that contains the same number of entities. Entities, that is atoms, molecules, ions, etc. As there are atoms in 12 gram of carbon 12. As we know, the mass number of carbon 12 is 12 and atomic number of carbon 12 is 6. So we can say that if anything contains the same number of entities as there are atoms in 12 gram of carbon, then it will be known as 1 mole of substance. The number of atoms present in 12 gram of carbon 12 is equal to 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. So we can say that 1 mole of anything is equal to 6.22 into 10 to the power 23 unit. 1 mole is equal to 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 unit of anything. And this number 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 is known as Avogadro number or Avogadro constant. This was given on the name of scientist Avogadro, and we can represent it by Na. So we can say that the 1 mole of anything is equal to 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 unit of anything, or equal to Na quantity. 1 mole of atoms of any element is equal to Na atoms, that is 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms. Now 1 mole of molecules of any substance is equal to Na molecules, that is 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 molecules. And 1 mole of ions is also equal to Na ions. So we can say that 1 mole of atom is also equal to Na, 1 mole of molecules is also equal to Na, 1 mole of ions is also equal to Na. But here Na atoms, here Na molecules, and here Na ions. For example, 1 mole of oxygen atoms is equal to 6.022 into 10 raised to power 23 atoms of oxygen atoms, or is equal to Na atoms. So we can say that 1 mole of oxygen atoms is equal to Na atoms, and 1 mole of oxygen molecules is also equal to 6.022 into 10 raised to power 23 molecules, that is O2 of oxygen. Here 1 mole of oxygen atom is equal to Na atoms, or here 1 mole of oxygen molecules is equal to Na molecules. Here small difference between Na at 1 mole of oxygen atom and 1 mole of oxygen molecules, because 1 mole of oxygen atoms contain Na atoms of oxygen, but 1 mole of oxygen molecules contain Na molecules. So we can say that if 1 molecule of oxygen contain 2 atoms of oxygen, so we can say that Na molecules is equal to 2 into Na atoms of oxygen. So we can say that 1 mole of oxygen atoms is equal to Na atoms of oxygen, but 1 mole of oxygen molecules is equal to Na molecules of oxygen, that is Na molecules of O2, or equal to 2 Na atoms of oxygen, that is O. So here difference between 1 mole of oxygen and 1 mole of atoms. Some notes are present here. 1 gram atom is equivalent to 1 mole of atom. 1 gram molecule is equivalent to 1 mole of molecule, and 1 gram iron is equivalent to 1 mole of iron. For example, 1 gram molecule of oxygen is equivalent to 1 mole of oxygen molecules. But 1 gram atom of oxygen is equal to 1 mole of oxygen atom. So we can say that 1 gram molecule of any substance is equal to 1 mole of this substance, and 1 gram atom of any element is equal to 1 mole atom of that element.